Alright guys, welcome back. I actually wanted to react to this video from a Mega Capital G. I originally wanted to react to the video of a Yasin, which is also where everyone is quitting Yu-Gi-Oh! And Mega Capital G pro Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are quitting the game over Yu-Gi-Oh!'s trash price support. I will talk about some other points that Yasin also talked about, but let's check out this video.
Price support in Yu-Gi-Oh! Has never really been all that great.
And I will put it,
talking about what you get for making top 8
1-5 is fine, I guess.
To the top cuts or even winning a YCS. As sad as this may sound, Konami has been able to get away with mediocre pricing because, for the most part, Yu-Gi-Oh! Really hasn't needed to step its game up in that department. Yes, Magic and Pokemon have always been our major competition and rivals for years, but outside of those two specifically, Konami has rarely ever had to worry about duelists jumping ship to other prominent TCGs. And if we're being honest here, nearly every other trading card game in the past 20 years, outside of the big three, has failed, with most not even reaching the 4th or 5th year. At least that was the case until very recently. Most, heck even Konami, may not have.
Yeah, I think this is actually a good point. Like, the competition wasn't really there, and in the last years there were so many card games for so many different how do you call it when you is it in no if you want to call it like a complete franchise, there's like a short term for that. But yeah, we have seen a lot of new card games over the last years. I think this is a good thing, so Konami gets a bit of a push to maybe upgrade their really bad prize pool. It's actually really bad, though. The Master Duel Challenger Cup prize pool, so in Master Duel the prize pool is actually okay because you can participate in the tournaments for free, but the real Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG tournaments, they are very expensive to go in. Then you get the booster packs, which rarely ever get you even, and then the prize pool is actually really bad. I had a really nice prize pool in Münster here in Germany, but this was not like a Konami organized event, but an event that was organized by the store itself, and then the pricing was actually quite nice. They even had like a PlayStation 5 for the first place, which we obviously also have in these 512 player tournaments over in Master Duel Challenger Cup, so that's quite nice. But yeah, the general pricing is pretty meh
Noticed yet, but there does seem to be a troubling and concerning trend of some of Yu-Gi-Oh!'s biggest and brightest stars, or its heavyweight competitive duelists, aka pro players, quitting Yu-Gi-Oh! In favor of other TCGs. I'll start off by saying, personally, I wouldn't have found this alarming, because sometimes people just want to try new things after playing one game for so long, but the sentiment appears to be that the pros aren't leaving because they're bored.
I think the problem with the Pokemon TCG, by the way, is, at least here in Germany, I have also looked at the Pokemon TCG because it's very cheap. You can get like the pro deck for, like the deck that won the World Championship for sometimes 50 euros, which is crazy, or 100 euros. But the thing is, there are just not that many tournaments here in Germany, also not many locals, so you can't really play, is my feeling. And I mean, this is not because Pokemon TCG is new, it's very old, so that's actually a bit sad if you want to like go over to Pokemon, I guess.
Or tired of Yu-Gi-Oh!, but rather because the prize support in rival games is so overwhelmingly better that there's almost no point of them continuing to devote so much time and energy into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! For such a mediocre payoff. Here's a recent example of what I mean. A post on Twitter from 5-time YCS champion and current player Christian Reina. Christian says, "I can't believe we are playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Over any other game. The way these new games run their tournaments and prizes are miles ahead of a company that has been doing this for over 2 decades. One Piece, Lorcana, Dragon Ball, you name it. It just sucks Yu-Gi-Oh! Has better gameplay."
I like this comment here. You get better pricing at the dentist. It just sucks Yu-Gi-Oh! Has better gameplay. Yeah, this is actually the point of Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the best game in terms of how deep it is, how much you have to learn, how much you can learn, and not specifically this format, because this, I think, is another thing that Yasin mentioned in his video. I think the current format in Master Duel as well as in the TCG, the Fire format, is a bit boring. I like Snake Eyes, but it's also we are in a very hand trap heavy format where you always have this little hand trap wars. So in the sense that who has more hand traps? Do you have one more effect Veiler than I do? And do you have a starter? Do I have a starter? It feels very random. I had a tournament recently, or I participated in a few of the Challenger Cups Master Duel recently, and also had the feeling that it's more random than it was ever before. It's like, are you lucky in getting the cards that you need? And are you then lucky in your opponent not getting the cards that he needs? And then you have these hand trap fights where the game basically slows down at the beginning. You go normal Sun and Snake Ash, it gets hand trapped, and then you pass over. Then they do the same, and then you are in top deck mode for who top decks the next starter first. It's a bit boring, I have to say, but the gameplay overall is way better. Every other card game, I don't know how you feel about this, guys, but I've also played a lot of other card games. Every other card game always feels like a Magic the Gathering, but different, right?
This post got a bit of traction and replies, not just for being brutally honest and kind of saying what people have been thinking for at least the last 5 years or so, but for also pointing out how even relatively new games like Lorcana and One Piece blow Yu-Gi-Oh! Out of the water.
By the way, I have just checked out One Piece yesterday because I was a bit curious about it, and actually it's kind of an interesting game. It's a bit sad that they don't have an official like game that you can play like Master Duel for One Piece at this moment.
In terms of prize support, despite the fact that we're the highest selling TCG of all time. Some of the replies included Milano, who said you get better prize support at the dentist, or Jared, who flat out said that he was ready to ditch Yu-Gi-Oh for Lorcana because of this issue. At this point, you're probably thinking, well, come on, Cap.
Lorcana's insane. Yeah.
It doesn't mean everyone else is thinking it, which is definitely true, but if you were to look around, you'd also see players like YCS champion Rafael Nadine, who left us and now plays the One Piece TCG, or four-time YCS winner Andres Torres, who went to the Pokemon trading card game and even stated in his top 4 Ultimate UDS deck profile that he had been spending all his time recently playing Pokemon and not Yu-Gi-Oh! Furthermore, Lorcana just hosted a major championship of over 2,000 players in Atlanta over the weekend, and this championship was won by none other than a former Yu-Gi-Oh! Player and also former small YouTuber, Joshua Petraire. Some might be wondering about the prize support discrepancy between us and our contemporaries. It can't be that bad, right? Okay, well, let's use the pre-made circuit series from each game because that creates a perfect and equal baseline. For Yu-Gi-Oh!, the YCS pricing includes a top cut rubber game mat for 32nd through 17th place. This mat sells for about $100 on the secondary market. 9th through 16th get the mat in addition to a box of the current core booster set. So basically,
this is YCS. Like you get a booster box 9 to 16th. But yeah, YCS is a big tournament, right? Like 1,000 players.
Add another $60 on top of that. 4th through 8th trade in the booster box for a Nintendo Switch, and the top 3 receive a YCS prize card in various rarities, with the top 2 duelists also netting themselves a quote-unquote premium messenger bag, as Konami calls it. I'll note that if the YCS event is over 2,049 players, the top mat is also awarded to anyone who finishes 33rd through 64th place. But overall, it's just not very good pricing, in my opinion. The mat, I think, is a nice start, but let's be real, it should probably be a cloth mat and not the cheap rubber kind. I also feel that it's just not enough for making top 30.
This is the prize pool for top 16? Crazy. That's super bad.
Of what, usually 1,500 to 2,000 players? The next step up in pricing also kind of feels like an insult. You get a box of the current sets in a plastic goldfish style box.
Especially if you get Duelist Nexus, which was such a bad edition booster pack,
also,
booster box.
Lazy. I mean, Konami brings tons of these packs and booster boxes to the events because everyone who enters gets 5 of them, so it's not anything special or unique. The Nintendo Switch also isn't impressive in my opinion because it's a 7-year-old video game system at this point.
Top 8 pricing. Is it top 8 YCS? No, right? There are only boosters here. And only once again Duelist Nexus.
It's something that is not desirable by many of your players at all. So for one of the most popular, arguably the most popular trading card game in the history of the world, I just don't think that the pricing for our flagship competitive circuit series is all that good. Now let's take a look at Lorcana, which obviously I am no expert on, and I believe may have just started its YCS level series circuit. Lorcana seems incredibly promo-based, meaning that its main pricing for top cut finishers are promo cards that appear to be alternate, rarity, or extended form.
And they are very expensive.
Lorcana's top 64 card is Elsa's Let It Go, which I'm gonna be honest here, I couldn't even believe this when I saw it. This card starts at $1,750 on eBay.
Crazy.
And only has a single listing on TCG Player, which is $1,800 at the time of me recording this video. The top 32 receives Cinderella's Stout-Hearted, TCG lowest verified $422. Top 16 gets Rapunzel's Gifted with Healing, TCG lowest verified $425. Top 8 gets a Rapunzel mat, which I actually could not find a price for. And finally, top 4 receives Mickey Mouse's Brave Little Tailor, TCG lowest verified $1,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
See a stark contrast between Lorcana giving out significantly more valuable prizes and to more players on top.
It's also very cool to give promo cards like these. We have these bad promo cards, the Glutonia or how it's called, not really great. I have to say I do like that Yu-Gi-Oh! Does not give out really good playable cards as tournament prize cards, because that would also be very bad for the game. Then everyone would have to buy very overpriced meta game staples, basically, because you can only get them at the tournament. This is also very bad in my opinion. So it's tough to solve this problem.
This is simply the minimal prizes, which extends to 128 players if the Lorcana event is 1,025 players or higher. I also noticed that people in the Lorcana subreddit were posting that they won special Cinderella mats for playing side events, and when I searched up this special Cinderella mat, its lowest listing on eBay was a whopping $6,000.
6,000?
Leute, ich dachte gerade, ich hätte mir ein Stück Zahn abgebrochen.
What the fuck? 6,000 is crazy.
That would well exceed what anyone at a YCS is winning. I mean, well,
but I mean, having something on eBay and actually selling it for the price, it's something different. So the question is, does this really sell for 6,000, right? But I mean, if this sells for 1,000, it would still be crazy, because you only can get this, or you can get this in a side event, which is normally not that hard to win a side event.
A YCS winner is taking home in prizing. I looked into One Piece's Treasure Cup circuit, which, full disclosure, does appear to be a year-round tournament, probably similar to how the PGA Tour or NASCAR star works, where your ranking changes from week to week. However, I believe at the end of each season within the year, the prizes are awarded. Regardless, much like Lurkana, the pricing is absolutely insane in the One Piece TCG. Top 64 receiving an $800 Yamato card, top 16 and top 8 getting cards like Big Mom and Kaido sell for thousands of dollars. Also, just quick side note, shout outs to the One Piece.
Yeah, also a friend of mine told me that, who started playing the game, that you don't really have to get a very high ranking and you get these cards that are worth like thousands of dollars. It's totally crazy. And the thing is, it's actually a playable card, the Charlotte Lin Lin. You play this in the yellow deck, I think. So you can also have this card in low rarity, which is quite nice because it is a playable card, so it has value in itself, but you can also get the low rarity version, so everyone can still play it, which is, I think, the best way to do it.
Insane spoilers in your card game because some of us haven't gotten to those later arcs. So yeah, that's just something that I'm a little annoyed by. Anyways, One Piece's model is very similar to Lurkana, where you don't necessarily get new cards for their competitive series, but instead they give out special versions of cards that can only
I like this.
From this
is
series,
really cool.
I guess from buying them in the secondary market. Other major TCGs like Pokemon and Magic the Gathering just cut the middleman out altogether and give players cold hard cash for winning. With Pokemon,
wow, 10,000? What is this Pokemon regional? This is a regional championship. Okay, so it's not a regional, but it's like the championship of regionals, right? So I guess you have to win a regional to get here, but still, like, Masters to $10,000. This is crazy. This is actually a nice prize pool, and then 108 booster packs, which I think is not that. I guess this is not the real deal, but it's still a lot. This is actually a lot. This is like 5 boxes or something.
Pokemon regional champions taking home $10,000 in cash for winning in the Masters division, plus 108 booster packs as well. Even on the low end, Pokemon gives $1,000 cash in 36 booster packs for players who finish in the top 32 through 17. Compare that to the crappy
that's a lot
that we get in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, that's crazy.
To see how badly every other
the Pokemon thing is the most crazy comparison in my opinion. Compare this to a YCS in the prize pool, and it's just like the guy who went, I don't know, 4th at the YCS and got these Duelist Nexus packs, which they don't even equal 1,000 at all. They might equal 36 booster packs from Pokemon, but probably not even that.
Major TCG's prize support absolutely destroys ours. And of course,
that's true.
The whole Takahashi argument of he didn't want cash prizes in Yu-Gi-Oh! But if that's the case and they're going to stick to that, why not supplement it with other things that high-level competitive players or really even casual players could use? You know, things like gift cards for travel, board, rideshare companies like Airbnb, the airlines, hotel, or Uber. Pretty sure someone who makes top 32 at a YCS would be absolutely thrilled to receive maybe a $250.
I hope the success of One Piece and Lorcana pushes Konami Japan to take a look at how they run Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Offers such unique gameplay experience. Yeah, that's the point. That's why Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still the best compared to all other games that scratch parts of my and other people's brains in ways that most of other games can't. Yeah, this is by far the most complicated, by far the best designed one. Everything else is just magic, but different. It's the same with One Piece. I tried out One Piece, and I like the concept. I didn't try out One Piece. I was yesterday. I looked over the game, and I watched some tournaments, and I checked out the cards and the decks and try to understand how the game operates, and I don't lie, but within one day I basically understood all the important rulings, which you can never do in one day when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! I think this is also a problem for Yu-Gi-Oh! Because this is what makes it hard to get new players into this game. It's super easy. I had one day and now I basically know One Piece on a base level. You can never do this with Yu-Gi-Oh! So that's, I guess, really a problem, which is sad because this is always a problem, right? Because you basically, I think if Yu-Gi-Oh! Would be designed today, they would not design it once again as difficult, because in today's like economy and attention economy especially, I think you have to present very easy and very very easy to grasp things, like whether it's be like a 20-second video on TikTok instead of a 30-minute video that not a lot of people have the mental capacity to watch that even, right? So I think this is the same with card games. They are made to be easy so that a lot of people can pick it up and don't need a lot of attention span to be able to play it. What I don't want to say that like Magic and One Piece that that there isn't like high skill in the game for the pro players. That's not the point, but it's very easy to pick it up, right?
Help them pay for their next trip to a YCS or even to something like Nationals. Would this add to Konami's expenses of running a YCS? Of course, but that's the price of doing business. The YCS circuit doesn't make any money for Konami anyways. In fact, it loses money. But as others have pointed out, the entire point of the circuit is to be advertising for competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! It's literally a business expense. Yes, spending an extra $5,000 to $7,000 per event and additional desired prize support might sound insane as an expense until you realize, one, this franchise has brought in $20 billion in revenue, two, Konami is an $8 billion company, and three, as I have said 100 times on this channel, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is by far the best and most profitable thing this terrible company owns. If they're not going to shell out a little more money to help Yu-Gi-Oh! Be as great as it can be.
Dkayed also very famous player, also complaining, right?
What are they going to spend that money on? Metal Gear, Castlevania, Silent Hill, these dead franchises that they don't even support anymore? Well, I guess technically Castlevania is a Netflix show, but you know what I mean. I don't think this trend of players jumping ship to other games is going to be the death knell in our game because, honestly, attendance numbers are just fantastic right now, but eventually it could become a problem. Furthermore, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to do something positive for your community, especially when they've been asking for it for the last decade or so. Do something good and you'll probably get a lot of positive word of mouth, which actually will drive in new players to your game. Last thing I want to say before I close this video out, because I know there's going to be one guy or gal in the comment section that says, oh, Kappa G, you ain't topping no YCSs anyways, why do you care? Which I think is just a terrible argument as to why our game has such trash prize support, because honestly, who cares if Cap G tops? It could literally be you who ends up topping the next YCS. You play your hard outs all week.
Yeah, that's actually not that much, right? For the German nationals in 3 weeks, where I also will be, so if you're there, you can definitely say hi to me if you're also there. 192 packets of sleeves, 2 consoles, 60 displays at least. That's not, but this is mostly for entry, right? 4 trophies, 2 prize cards. Yeah, that's actually nothing, right? And so many players, and I think the tickets were like 30 euros.
You have the performance of a lifetime, and all you walk away with is a crappy rubber mat that, not a lot of people even want, and a box of the current core set, which you could have just got from any vendor anyways. They all have it. I just think that with a company this size, with a TCG that has been this successful, arguably the most successful in the history of the planet, there really is no excuse for the price to be this bad, especially when you got these brand new games like Lurkana and One Piece that are honestly just running circles around us. So let me know what you guys think of this.
And the other thing is, this is a very, very good point, and I think Konami will have to address this at some point. The other thing is, with the people leaving, is what Yasin said, with the current format being very boring, very hand-trap heavy, very like not very skill-based, but very, it feels like luck-based. I think a format like the tier element format, where everyone was playing tier elements against tier elements, this was a very nice format. I also liked it in Master Duel, where there was a lot of skill involved. I think this is what makes the Dkayed. This is what makes the game great, and this is what makes it way better than all the other games. I think Konami has to be a bit, and then we also have this one, right? This, I don't know if you have seen this, but the basically ban of all playmats and sleeves that are not from Konami officially at higher tier events like the German nationals, for example. So you can't use them anymore. You have to use real Konami ones. So companies like SleeveG, for example, I guess you know them even if you are maybe only here for Master Duel stuff. Companies like SleeveG, for example, now have a big problem because, for example, their main deck sleeves here with Jubel or with, I don't know, Rayquaza, Luffy. I mean, you can see the change of the focus here. They are, I guess, now focusing more on the One Piece sleeves, which makes sense because, yeah, you can't use them anymore. You can't use these Yu-Gi-Oh! Sleeves. And obviously this company is, this is built on this basically, whereas the playmats, you will not be able to use them anymore. But you can see that they are really, switching to One Piece here, which I think is very, very clever because, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Playmat business is definitely over. But guys, let me know in the comments what you think of all of this. Maybe you also play in the TCG and have experienced the very bad. It is actually very, very bad. We can't just like this. It's just true, right? I don't think that you can even argue about this. But let me know in the comments what you think of this issue and what your experience with this is. And are you playing different other TCG games maybe? And how is the experience there? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for being here, guys. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, hitting a thumbs up and the notification bell. And we will see each other in the next one.